Hi, my name is Yasmin Robles with Robles Designs, and in today's episode we are going to be talking about website audits, why they are important, and how you can utilize them on your own as a small business owner in the new year or new quarter to really hone in on what your website needs, no matter what industry you're in. These tips are going to be helpful for you. So I'll be going over a few tools that I use, some things that I look over, and again, not very industry specific. So whether you're e-commerce or a service-based business, such as a consultant, etc., this should really work for you. A little bit about us before I get started. Again, we are Robles Designs and my name is Yasmin Robles, and I am the owner of the website agency, and we create drill-worthy websites and brands for entrepreneurs hell-bent on taking over the world. If you're looking for a freebie, make sure to check out roblesdesigns.com/checklist, and that is a nice downloadable PDF where you can, literally it's a checklist where you will go in and go through your site and really you can give it an audit and see what your site needs. You can also utilize this to build your site. So if you are a blank slate, then you can use this to ensure that your site has what it needs. But now let's get back to the content. If you are very short on time, this first thing is the only thing that should matter when really auditing your website and seeing if it's working for you and for your business and helping you grow. And it is goals. The first question that I have for you is, did you set goals? If you didn't set any goals, I would suggest looking through your analytics and see where your gaps are and what goals you could implement on the website. Goals are an essential item to have when creating a website. So whenever we create a website, we definitely ask about goals, ask what your goal is about leads and conversions and what you want people to do on your website, the number one thing, the number two thing. Make sure you have these for your site, whether you are just starting out or have been in business for a while. Now, if you did set goals and you hopefully have some analytics tools installed, look through your analytics tools and start to gauge and look at the numbers and see how many leads you're getting. So if you know your intake of how many people are filling out the contact form to sign up to talk with you, how many people are hopping onto your calendar to have a discovery call, you know those numbers. And so now you get to see what the numbers are of people coming onto your site. So if there are, for example, 100 people coming to your site in a week and you are getting one person filling out the contact form every week, now you know where the gap is and that 1 out of every 100 people could be filling out that form. Now you can also do something like asking people when you have a call with them, ask them how they found you. And if all those 4 people, so out of 100 people that visit your site, you're getting 1 lead per week, right? If 2 of those people say they found you online, but 2 others say that they actually were a referral, now you know that from your site, you're only getting 2 people per month filling out your contact form, and that's a total of 100 per week. I went to art school, so it's like what, 100 times 4 weeks about-ish in the month, then that's 400 people. So out of 400 people coming to your site, there are 2 people filling out the form. And then you get to look at where those people are landing on your site. Usually it's the homepage, and how many of those are coming to the homepage and immediately leaving the site after only a few seconds. This means that they came to your site on accident with an intention of finding something specific, and then they saw the homepage and they left because they had no idea what they were getting into. Maybe they were not your target market. You kind of want to take all of these aspects into account. Finally, when it comes to goals, you want to make sure that every page has some intent for it. So for example, the about page, the intent is to learn about me, to learn about the team, to learn about our process, and then the goal would be to get you to our contact form to really get a hold of us, hop on a call, and become a client. Knowing the intent for every page will really guide the content that goes onto each page. The next thing that you want to audit is the design of the site. And you want to look for consistency throughout the site. So this means that the navigation, footer area, all that is consistent throughout every single page. And you want to make sure that the color scheme, the font styling, typography, all of that is also same across the board. And then you want to look at your website against your marketing materials. And this is where the biggest disconnect happens sometimes, where you will have a beautiful brochure that you hand out to people, but then they go to your site and the fonts are different, the colors are slightly off. It's just not at all cohesive. That is what happens a lot of the times, especially if you have a website designer and then you have a separate print designer and they don't communicate with each other, which we've worked with print designers and we communicate with them, package designers the same way, because we want the cohesiveness across the board. As an example, we created a website for a company called Bake Me Happy Gluten Free here in Columbus, Ohio. They're amazing. They were some of the best clients. For their site, we specifically asked for any brand assets or package design or anything that they had gotten done that they regularly use, because we know that they have a storefront and people are purchasing products and carrying products away, and not just in any whatever package. It is a very particular package to their brand, and we wanted to make sure that that has a connection to the website. All the graphics should be the same across the board. Next, make sure that the call to action buttons, that it is easy to find and that they stand out, especially if it's a button that pertains to your primary number one goal of the site or page. And this sometimes happens when clients DIY their site and the buttons, for example, let's say you have a navy blue background in one of your sections on your page and the button is a interesting, slightly lighter shade of that navy blue. It's great, it goes well, it's cohesive, but you cannot easily see that button on that section because of the background color. So you want to make sure that they're easy to find and that they're very, again, consistent. It trains the user to say, this button, this is a button, this is a call to action, this is something I get to click on. The next thing you want to make sure about when you are reviewing the design of the site is that anything that's important is easy to find. So this can mean navigation wise, this can mean throughout the page, the content that's created for the page, that anything that should be important is really simple and easy to find. So if I'm looking for information on your particular services, I should easily find that page that pertains just to that service that I am interested in. And when I go into that service, I can find exactly the information that I want. This all comes back down to design. It does not have to be cluttered or this crazy page with so much jam-packed into it that it feels like homework to read. It can be designed in a very beautiful and interesting way so that it doesn't feel like homework, but it still provides the important information, and that important information is easy to find. And that all goes along with a really easy user journey, and just making sure that when you say that your number one goal for the user is for them to get onto your email list, that you're actually displaying your email list in a variety of places. So again, the user journey gets to be simple and clean. What is the intent that the user has when they come to your homepage, and how can you get them to their goal while still maintaining, obviously, your goals as a business owner? Now, when it comes to design, the last thing you want to think about is, does your site tell the correct story, and does it really bring up the right feelings for the user? And what I mean by this is your story, your connection point with the user really showcased on the website? If not, there could be a disconnect where they do not feel that they are the right lead for you, that they are the right client or customer for you. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to audit or look over is the platform. And one of the things that you can just ask yourself as you're thinking about your platform and if it's working for you or not is whether it's easy to use and whether your team can work with it. Make sure that you are used to the platform, that you are tech savvy enough to use it, and that it is user friendly. So if you are, let's say, a lawyer, you're doing your own thing, and you also are now the tech person, that you can easily go into your site, whether it's Squarespace, WordPress, wherever, and update things like your bio, update the office address, update images, make sure that videos are easy to embed or upload, adding blog posts, and if you are an e-commerce company, make sure that adding products is really easy and simple. So for example, Shopify will be a lot easier to bulk edit a lot of products versus Squarespace, where Squarespace is a great platform, but when it comes to e-commerce, it's better for smaller e-commerce stores with less than, I would say, 50 products. If you are on WordPress and you know for sure that you keep forgetting to make updates and that you have no idea, you just freak out whenever you get onto the admin area, maybe look into something like Squarespace where the admin area is less It's more user-friendly and it's less intimidating than WordPress is sometimes. At least that's what my clients have told me when switching between platforms. The next thing that you want to think about is usability, and this is more along the lines of the user's usability and how they can interact with the website. So the first thing in terms of usability is your website responsive? Is there a mobile version? Is it just a nice snazzy site all across the board, depending whatever device people are on? Go through your site and make sure that everything is easy to read, that it is just really nice and cohesive from the biggest screen to the smallest screen. The next thing I want you to check for usability is the site load time, and this can be, the cause of this can be a lot of different factors, but just keep in mind that if you're using too many special features like things sliding in, a lot of different animations, it can tend to slow down the site sometimes, so check on that. You can also check on the image sizes. So if you're uploading huge images, for example, if you go to a stock photo place like pexels.com, you download the biggest one, which I think sometimes is around 6,000, 5,000 pixels wide. You don't necessarily need that for a website, and you don't necessarily need that if you only want this size on the window, on the browser window, just a little corner of an image. You don't want to upload a 5,000 pixel wide image. It's just going to end up slowing down the site. So make sure that the image size that you're uploading, I would say no more than 1600, 1800 pixels wide for a full width image. And if you do need it to be smaller, like a headshot, you can upload a smaller size. You don't necessarily need to upload this huge headshot when it's just gonna end up being pulled in by the code and then shrunken down. So make sure your images are optimized. If you're on a Mac, I use Image Optim as a little plugin, and I drop my images in there. It kind of optimizes them, spits them back out, and then I can upload them to the website. And this goes across the board on any platform. But make sure your website images are optimized. Make sure you're not using too much code to make fancy things happen, especially because it's just going to be overwhelming for the design anyway. So you don't want to use too many animations or too much going on the site. The next thing you want to make sure you look over during your audit is the written content. Ideally, your written content is going to be engaging. It's going to be about the user. Avoid any language that is all about you. It's not all about you. It's about how you and your skill set, your experiences help shape who I want to become or what my goal is. If you're a personal trainer and you help women business owners lose 15 pounds, how can you speak to me on your page and show me that you understand me, you understand how busy I am, and you understand what it's going to take to get that transformation that I want, and really what is that transformation. Then when it comes to the actual design of the text, you want to make sure that it is easy to read, and I think I might have touched upon this in definitely touched upon it in other videos, but I think I touched upon it in other points of this video. But you want to make sure that the text size is just easy to read. It's not too small. You'll get dinged on that, like a notification if you're on Google Search Console. You get a notification that your text might be too small, if especially on mobile, if it is too small. Then when it comes to the rest of the text, make sure that it is easily read in terms of headlines, subheadlines, paragraph, and then bullet points. And then keep your paragraphs short and sweet. You can have one-liners, you can have paragraphs that are just 2 sentences. On a website, you'll want to make sure that your paragraphs are short, sweet, to the point, that they are above them will be like a subheading or a headline, and then anything that can be a bullet point or a numbered list should be a bullet point or numbered list, so that it is, again, easy to scan through by others and doesn't feel like you are going into European history class and getting a 40 pages to read as homework. That is it for today's episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Robles Design Studio. Get the free checklist at roblesdesigns.com/checklist, and let me know what questions you have in the comments, and I will catch you in the next episode. Not that we just create different graphics, which we can, but they should all be